place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, stays not safe. Before you cross me, look both ways. Leaving the scene with no trace, none in my league. You out of place, I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine, I'm feeling great. You're not my fan, you can't relate. Straight talk going, state to state.
What's going on, guys? It's your host, your boy George Mackay, and from the 905 to wherever you are, thank God this is not Schwa Wars. Wow, what a jerk!
I'm recording with that asshole. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
we can wait.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah, we can wait.
I told you, I don't know who it is yet.
Okay. Oh. Yeah.
Look, it'll be fine. The matchmaker's got nothing on you. You're the OG.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later. I gotta talk to some schmuck. All right.
Okay. Oh.
It's George. How'd you guess?
Tread lightly. Tread lightly now. Bye. Tread lightly. You know what the funny thing is? When you picked up the phone.
Why the hell did you press record already? I told you I was on a phone call.
When you picked up the phone, it clearly looked like this color of screen, which meant nobody called you.
First of all, I was on the phone, and you don't know anything about cellular devices, all right, my friend? First of all, I'm an Android guy, clearly much better than some Apple schmuck. But that's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother topic.
Says the guy who's in 4K and who looks like he just rolled out of bed.
First of all, I'm not in bed.
4K.
How do I look in bed? I am styling and profiling as I always am.
Stand up.
We're here in a goddamn bowling t-shirt.
I guarantee you, you're wearing every other Zoom outfit out there with shorts from the waist down.
You would like to know what I'm wearing for the waist down, but that is not to do with this podcast right now.
Well,
all right, we are here to talk about Hostile Crisis. We're here to talk about New Frontier. We're here to talk about the second show of this amazing promotion that has started up over the last over the last several months. And quite frankly, they have exceeded all expectations. I don't know about you, but
I will agree with you. I will agree with you. The first show was top notch. I didn't know what we were walking into. I didn't know how you would look in full out HD. And thank God you looked like a cop with a drug problem. Your toupee was holding on perfectly. So it was great.
Look, the whole Jesse Ventura making fun of the Vince McMahon toupee thing ain't gonna fly. This is 2022, all right? This is a full head of hair. We've established there's a reason why my hair's showing and yours hair's hiding. That's all we're gonna say.
Okay. Right.
Is this gonna be the whole show? Because I have much better think. Oh my God, that is terrible. That looks like grass in the middle of April.
Shut up for a second. Let's talk one thing. The fact is that we will talk wrestling, but I will say this one thing before we get into the big news of tomorrow night's show, because this will premiere on Saturday. So tomorrow night's show being Sunday, we are in Oshawa. It's going to be a great show. The one thing I will say is that I know this: the Twitch followers that watched our stream when it premiered, I made a lot of them pop in the chat room at the shade I was throwing at you with your Value Village shirt and all kinds of stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Now, on to important matters at hand. What we are going to talk about is the breaking news that happened earlier this week. Lufisto, unfortunately, could not answer the Mark Assbuster challenge because of an injury. She had to step away to get healthy. Well, I know you may disagree, Hayes. You may disagree, but it's the truth. She had to cancel multiple bookings, and unfortunately, accepting the Mark Assbuster challenge just would not fit into her recovery schedule. So we wish Lufisto well. But now on to important matters at hand. We know that you have aligned yourself with Tarek in this, Titan kiss-ass kind of weird thing you two have going. But
I am the executive consultant for Tarek. All right.
How can you be consulted when you yourself have never stepped in a ring other than to try to get through the ropes to take the mic from Gentleman Jeff at the last show?
I'm a 15-year veteran, first of all.
15-year veteran of what?
If you're going to, I have been in this business for 15 years. I have been a ring announcer, a manager, a producer. I have run my own promotions. I have had my hands dabbled in the sport of professional wrestling in this province for a number of years. A lot of the careers that you're seeing in New Frontier and people that you're seeing on television right now are all thanks to me. And I'm not saying that to gloat my own ego. I'm being legitimately serious. I have worked with the best. Some people who have just won world championships as of, Saturday or Sunday night. So with all due respect, I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I see talent when I see it. And Tarek is the future of professional wrestling. And you can gloat and you can be an asshole all you want when it comes to me. But the fact of the matter is, it's true. The fact that Tarek is really, really good. In fact, he is the OG, Ontario's greatest for a reason.
He doesn't need you. That's my
all
point.
the greatest had somebody.
No.
All the greatest. Muhammad Ali had somebody in his corner. They had someone at least leading the way. Floyd Money Mayweather always had somebody leading in his corner. All the greatest fighters, all the greatest athletes in the world have always had the man behind the scenes. The person that instructs the career, that guides them, that tells them who the people they should be and should not be associating with, which is a reason why great talent work with me and schmucks like you sit in the chair and watch from the stands.
Schmucks
now,
like me.
Now here's the deal.
Okay.
I respect the fact that anybody else in this world can beat anybody. All right. Everybody says all it takes is 3 seconds, right? In the world of professional wrestling.
It really does.
However, there's also 3 things that you got to understand. Instead of a 1, 2, 3, there's also a punch, kick, chop. And those are the 3 words that I'm pretty sure Lufisto remembered that was going to happen on May the 1st. If she understood the level of brutality that was going to happen before she took on this open challenge, then she wouldn't have accepted in the first place. Lufisto saw on the calendar that May 1st was coming, and it just so happened to happen that she got injured. Now, I wish her a speedy recovery, and I'm being serious. I really do hope that she does come into New Frontier, because I've been a fan of hers for a very long time. And I would love to be able to witness live and in person Lufisto versus Tarek, because I know if we see that match, it'll be the last time we see Lufisto. Okay? But you know what? Feigning an injury, not feigning injury, who am I to say? All I know is that Tarek was going to be in Oshawa and will be in Oshawa on May the 1st at the Biltmore Theater, and I'm going to be there right beside him to make sure that whoever accepts this open challenge, A, is credible enough, and also B, is, given their proper last rites. Because quite frankly, that's what it's always going to be when you're in the ring with Tarek. It's going to be a funeral for you and your career.
All right. I respectfully agree with some of the points you made, not all of them. And also, your lips got dry during that whole spiel. So get the chapstick ready, because when you're done kissing his ass, you'll have more work to do on commentary. Now, on to the match card at hand. The matchmaker has put together a banger. We both can agree on that. So as we discussed, Tarek will be in Oshawa. We don't know who's going to answer the Mark Assbuster challenge now that Lufisto has stepped away due to injury, but he will be there and someone will answer the call. Now, if you could put your money on anyone that we've seen thus far in the New Frontier roster, would you say it's someone we've already seen, or could this be a new person premiering as the Odyssey continues?
See, there's some stupid people who do Frontier Wrestling. And I'm not saying stupid because I just don't respect them. I just mean the fact that we have seen some crazy stuff so far in New Frontier, and it's only been one show. So I think that there are people crazy enough to be able to take up that challenge because they want to prove a point. I mean, you got people that lost at the last show, like a Vander Cruz or an Evan Greenaway, or people that were in the stick fight that maybe want to upstage themselves and be like, you know what? I need to get back in the good races as the matchmaker. I want to be able to prove myself. You know what? Maybe the best course of action is to take out Tarek. And you know what? I wouldn't fucking blame him. Not whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is, it's a silly thing to try if you are that low on the totem pole. Because let's be honest, if you lost your match at the last show, which means you're probably not even close to the caliber of Tarek. So let's talk about the people that have won at the last show. You got Steve Brown, you got Jessie Mack, you got Justin Sane, you got all these people who have won. The problem is, now those people have also gone back, probably watched the show, showed it to their friends, promoted on social media, maybe want to check out their own stuff, and they happen to stumble across Tarek's match. And then they saw what he did to Tyler Arrow. Well, we all saw what he did to Tyler Arrow, who's a great young athlete who's got a lot of upstart in this career. Took him to the woodshed, made his chest into hamburger meat, and left him laying and knocked his ass out. Now, if anyone, in my opinion, had a winning streak, I would want to keep my winning streak. So I wouldn't want to get in the ring with Tarek and risk that opportunity to be knocked out and lose my 1-0 to possibly go 2-0. It's not worth it. The idea of someone coming in that's never been seen before, that intrigues me because they don't know the nature of the beast. They weren't there live. They didn't hear the crowd. They didn't hear the punch, the kicks, the chops for their own ears. Anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling. I don't know. Again, there are some stupid, crazy people in this company already, but there's a lot of people that are knocking at the door after the first show, and I know that for a fact, that want to walk through the New Frontier doors. So if it means challenging Tarek to get to that opportunity, it just might happen. But we'll have to see just what happens though on May the 1st, won't we?
We will. We will. So this is not exactly how I think the card is going to go, but I feel like we're going to kick it off after the Mark Ass Busher will be somewhere in the middle of the card for sure. I feel like the Pick Your Poisons are going to be kind of kicking off the event. So as we know, PD Skills and that Kyle, his son, not his son, his old son. I'm not sure of that whole family drama. Let's leave the Jerry Springer stuff aside. Now, the Pick Your Poison match is very simple. They got to pick each other's opponents. That Kyle went first. And as we now know, which was announced earlier this week, PD Skills will have a tough task as he takes on Rex the Boot Atkins. So looking at this match, what PD Skills brings to the table, knowing that Kyle might also be waiting in the rings and vice versa. PD Skills might be waiting in the rings when that Kyle takes on his opponent. Looking at this first match, do you think this is just a chance for Rex to get back in the good graces of the matchmaker after losing to Warhead? And maybe PD Skills will be turned into lunch meat?
I think that out of both matchups, I think that in a slight way, that Kyle might have more of an advantage over PD Skills match. And that's only because, and I realize that Kyle is less experienced than PD Skills.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention that Kyle will be taking on Puff. PD Skills picks Puff as that Kyle's opponent. So that was the Pick Your Poison, the Russian roulette, if you will.
Exactly. So that Kyle, I think, in my opinion, over Puff might have a bit of an advantage. And Puff is world round, not just besides round, but like he's world renowned in that sense. Like he does have a lot of experience against that Kyle, but that Kyle is, there's just something that just kind of rubs you the wrong way when you kind of look at somebody, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of makes you want to like itch or something like that.
Well, he's got that face you want to punch. I will agree with you on that.
He does. He absolutely does. And I think we both can agree on that one still. But I think that Kyle is the people that he's hung out with so far in his career. He's learned a lot of underhanded tricks of the trade a lot sooner than a lot of other wrestlers have picked up over their years. And I think that he's going to employ them all on somebody who, yeah, they want to win a match, but we've all seen Puff. At least I have now for the first time. I get the impression that he just wants to have a good time. He wants to entertain. And if he gets the win, so be it. He's just there for the people. That Kyle's there to make a statement to PD Skills and to the audience. And I think that Kyle just might be able to pull out some sort of chicanery, shall we say, to topple the giant for his own good. Now, PD Skills, who's a veteran on and off here in Ontario over the last several years, is against someone, Rex the Boot Atkins, who again is a world traveler, who's done it all, seen it all, and who's beaten a lot of people in between. And he's coming off a loss against Warhead, which quite frankly, he might feel a little bit embarrassed of. Maybe not for the fact that he lost, but maybe how he lost. Here's a guy that's a street fighter, a guy that can put the boots to anybody. If you saw him in a bar, you wouldn't go anywhere near him. He had sticks sticking out of his head, looking like a friggin' porcupine. He got put through a door. The man's probably feeling a little bit embarrassed and wants to be able to get back on that winning ways. And I think he sees PD Skills as another one of these hardcore other rejects in professional wrestling and might want to take his aggression out from what happened at the first show on him. So I think he's going to be coming with a little more piss and vinegar, shall we say. So I think that Kyle over Puff, and I think Atkins over Skills, at least in my opinion.
I will agree with you. And again, it doesn't pay me to admit it because you do know your stuff, and I'll give the devil his due in that. You're still an asshole, but I'll give the devil his due. Now,
yeah, that's fair.
The fact is, I agree with you on that. However, I disagree with you on Puff, and I get your thought process. You've only seen him once, so seeing him once, calling a match once, you're right. He came out, he was dancing, he was gyrating, he was doing all kinds of great stuff. And
he used a confetti cannon against Cranio.
Okay, fair enough.
The man's clearly not right in the head.
Okay, hold on. When you've taken a lot of bumps in a ring, sometimes you're not always going to be right in the head.
Go on. I'm waiting for the rest of this point to happen.
No, that's my point. The fact is, you take a lot of bumps in the head, confetti cannon's a confetti cannon. Not so similar from when Pretty Ricky used to pull out the little confetti gun. It's really the same thing. It's the same moniker. So the fact is that as much as Puff is there to have fun and enjoy himself, Puff knows how to dance in that ring. And not just dance, but he also knows how to move in that ring and get a W. Puff's got a lot of W's under his belt. And I don't know. I think that Kyle has got a tougher task than you portrayed it to be. He might pull out a victory. He might, but I think Puff has the upside on that one. I agree with you on Rex completely. He's pissed off. That match with Warhead did not go his way. Warhead pretty much controlled the pace of most of that match. But I don't know. I think a lot of the fans would just like to see that Kyle get punched in the face. And who better than Puff?
I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody would stand in line to punch him in the face.
I would pay for that. I would.
I think I would too, actually.
We should. Okay.
That'd be a great charity show. That'd be a great charity show right there, right?
Make it happen. Let every VIP fan come in early to punch that Kyle in the face. Not a bad idea. All right.
Not a bad idea.
Next match on the card, I'm going to say, again, and this is not the way I know how the card's going to go. Haze and I don't know how the card's going to go. These matches are just going to happen throughout the night. But speaking of Cranio, and speaking of a woman who won at the last event, Jessie Mack, she's going against Cranio with Pretty Ricky in his corner. Now, this is interesting because it was supposed to be Jessie Mack versus Pretty Ricky, but somehow he managed to flip it or find a loophole, if you will, and it's going to be a member of Pretty Ricky Industries or Pretty Wildy Industries, something along those lines. So Cranio, I guess, is being now managed or taken under the wing of Pretty Ricky. Therefore, he can sub himself out and put cranialx into any match, I guess, he chooses. And this is one of those situations. So I'll go first on this one, if you will. I think Jessie Mack will have a tall hill to climb in this one. I don't think, unfortunately, I don't really see this going any other way, but Cranio doing a lot of very bad things to her. And it sucks because I know she's got skill in the ring and I know she can handle herself. I just don't know how she can handle herself with cranialx. She's definitely going to have some weapons hidden away in the ring and try to do something to use the environment as the great equalizer. But I'm going to give this one to cranialx just because of Steer's size and stature, and also Pretty Ricky being the X factor in his corner.
Jessie Mack is all heart. As we saw at the last show against her opponent, Evan Greenaway, she is all heart. And I firmly believe that on May 1st, we're going to see her heart get ripped out of her friggin' chest. Like Mortal Kombat style. Like, I think this is a brilliant move by Ricky Wilde to be able to substitute himself out of this match. Of course, because apparently he wants absolutely nothing to do with Jessie Mack or even touch her or whatever. You know, he feels like he's above that. But just to put Cranio against anybody, after especially what we saw at the last show, is almost like a death sentence. And Jessie Mack, like, again, you got to respect her fight, her tenacity, everything about her. An uphill climb, she's going against Mount Everest in this situation. So she better have all that in a bag of chips to be able to beat this guy. But with all due respect, I don't see her coming anywhere close to even toppling this guy to a knee, let alone going down to his shoulders for a 3 count. So Cranio wins this, in my opinion. And I'm just really hoping that there's EMTs on standby for whatever happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I, again, I don't disagree with what you said. A little bit harsh at some points, but nonetheless, we've got a couple debuts happening next week as well. We've got Mingjae Lee, and he's going up against Matthew Grant, the Standard, a guy who's made a lot of noise the last couple of years during the pandemic and post-pandemic, as kind of collecting belts, having big-time matches, kind of putting his stamp on the Ontario indie scene, changing his name from the Underdog to the Standard, if you will. So this is a match that intrigues me because I don't know much about Mingjae, but I do know Matt Grant, and I know what he's capable of in that squared circle. Not one to shy away from a dirty tactic to get a W. And at the end of the day, from what we've learned about the Odyssey thus far, all that really matters is the W's. Not how you get them, just getting them. So what's your take on this one?
I have not seen Lee in the ring. I've heard only positive things about him. I'm very excited to be able to see what he can do, especially within a New Frontier ring. I've seen the progression that Matthew Grant has gone on over the last several years. Someone who literally stood in the crowd and thought to himself, I can be that person. I can be that professional wrestler that, becomes the standard of professional wrestling. And over the last couple of years, he's lived up to his word. I mean, if you don't like the guy, if you like the guy, that's besides everything. Empire, in their own way, has been a very dominant faction in this province. And bringing in one piece of that is concerning because if there's one Empire member, sometimes there are two, sometimes there are three. And this becomes now a 3-on-1 or a 2-on-1. And we know Matthew Grant will do whatever it takes to win. He is sneaky. He is conniving. He's everything that Kyle is, but just, in my opinion, a little bit better of an athlete. So we'll have to see what happens. Again, with Lee, I'm very excited to be able to see how he's able to control himself in this environment. He's going to have to use every sense of athleticism that he's got under his belt. But I'm going to have to give it, just because I've only seen him in the ring, I'm going to have to give it to Matthew Grant solely because of my own eyes seeing the treachery that is able to come from this man when need be.
I can't disagree with you. You're right. Usually when it comes to one Empire member, you end up facing two or possibly three. So I think we're both going to agree on that Matthew Grant is going to find a way to come out on top in this one. Now, another matchup is a kind of a sequel to what we saw last time. Last time we had a three-way dance with Fuerza, Freedom McRae, and Clay Wilson. Now we have two of those men that were in that match going one-on-one. Freedom McRae versus Clay Wilson. Now, this is a match where, again, you don't know what's going to happen, but I will say this. Clay Wilson thoroughly impressed me in the last match. He continues to impress me. And every time I see Wallace, he gets a little better. Freedom Wallace, he was the first one to go out. So all I'm going to say is this. Clay Wilson's got momentum in his favor because he ended up winning that match. So my pick, I'm going to go with Clay Wilson. I enjoy Clay Wilson. He gets better and better and better. Wallace is no slouch himself, but I just know Clay Wilson's got to be renting space because he did pin both men in that match. So he's got to be renting space in Freedom Wallace's head. For sure he does.
I think the only space that's in Freedom's head right now is because of Fuerza after scoring the victory and everything that happened because of that. Clay Wilson, he is another one of these guys that will just do whatever it takes to win. And quite frankly, that's the type of wrestler that we need in New Frontier. Someone that is willing to scratch and claw and bite and just everything else to obtain a victory. And I don't think that we saw the Freedom Wallace that I know is lurking within him at that three-way. Like I said before, when it's one-on-one, Freedom Wallace can break you down scientifically. He can ground you, he can pound you, and he can work all those different styles. He fell victim to the thing that I was worried about the most, a multi-man match, because he's not able to do what he does best, and that is torture a body part and work it and win. And I think that Clay Wilson understands that, and same with Fuerza, which is why he was the first one eliminated, which was smart on both their parts. So in this matchup, if it is one-on-one, Wilson's underhanded, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win, as we know. But there's something about Wallace, and I'm going to stick with it, at least for now. I'm going Freedom Wallace over Clay Wilson.
And that's fair. That's the great thing about prediction shows. We all have our own opinions and predictions. Some of us won more of the predictions.
All right.
A lot of your predictions were completely wrong last show. I actually won the prediction.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It's a prediction show. That doesn't matter. Go on.
God. You are so infuriating. And I can also, it's weird because through Zoom, I could smell your breath. It smells like Tarek's ass. Have you been licking it again?
Excuse me, sir. I use Colgate. It's a great toothpaste.
No, you buy dollar store toothpaste. You use like Dippity Do hair gel for your teeth.
I don't even know what that is.
Next match on the card. Mark Shaw versus Steve Brown. The Bone Crusher won last time. He won that Singapore stick match. Mark Shaw did not. Mark Shaw. What can we say about that match? Everyone in that match, I guess, got a free proctology exam, whether they wanted to or not.
Yeah. The match hurt my eyes. I'm going to be honest with you.
That match was hard to watch. But now we're going to get two of the biggest boys in that match going one-on-one. Steve Brown obviously having momentum on his side. I picked Mark Shaw last time. Didn't go well for me. I am going to stick with the biggest man in this match. I'm going to go with Steve Brown. This time around. I think Steve Brown has got momentum, and I think he's going to continue his winning ways here in New Frontier.
I think that's a very smart bet, and I would probably like to jump on top of that bet as well. Mark Shaw, can't put anything against him. Veteran in the sport, has proven his worth. He's tough as they come. Steve Brown, in my opinion, is on another level. when it comes to just being a dick in the ring, being able to be manipulative in the ring. He knows how to he can get under your skin to the point where he can just take advantage of the situation.
Oh, so he's
It's
like
kind of
Adam
like a
Haze
that
with
Kyle in
more
that
athletic
sense.
ability.
You know what? There is a lot of athletic. You know what? We're not going to get into that. Steve Brown has been around the sport longer than I have at this point. He is almost a 20-year veteran at this point. You don't become a 20-year veteran without learning some tricks of the trade. And of course, Shaw has as well. But this is two big hosses just going at it. And honestly, this is a clash of some sort of a Titans, shall we say, without, But I think one-on-one, I think that Shaw's going to overexert himself. He's going to try to slam him. He's going to try to those big moves. He wants to prove his, his mettle, shall we say, and his worth. I don't think it's going to get very far. I think that Steve Brown quite possibly is one of the biggest threats that New Frontier has to offer. And a lot of people don't seem to maybe realize it, especially after that stick fight. But one-on-one, yeah, Steve Brown can do some damage. So there's no multi-men to be able to take him down or anything like that. So Shaw, you got a hell of a task ahead of you. And I think that you could do it. I just don't think you will.
All right, fair enough. We've also got another debut this Sunday night. The Prince of the Dirty Schwa, Andrew Love, will make his debut in New Frontier against a returning Green Phantom, who was also in that Singapore stick match and also got I'm not even going to say it anymore.
You just with the less you say about the better, but go on.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Both of us needed therapy after that match. I know we did. So listen, this one I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I've had Andrew Love on my show. I think he's a great talent. I just think the Green Phantom, seeing him for the first time, he's on a whole nother level. Veteran guy, he's been around, he knows his stuff. Not taking anything away from Andrew Love. I just don't see this one going his way. I don't think Sunday night's gonna be his night. I see the Phantom finally getting a W here in New Frontier.
You don't bet against the Schwa, first of all. At least in my opinion, you don't bet against the Schwa. I think that Phantom has proven a lot to everybody, whether coming from IWS and winning championships all over Quebec and especially here in Ontario as well. Andrew Love has really impressed me over the last year. He is a guy that I remember sitting in the front row at one point, looking up at the stars, and he thought to himself, kind of like, the others in the past that are just like, you know what, like Matthew Grant, like I can do that. I want to be that. And he's done that. He's done what a lot of people failed to do. He's realized his dream. He got better. He got jacked in the gym. He's traveled all over Canada. He's becoming the athlete that, quite frankly, a lot of us wish that we were. The Prince of Oshawa may be a nickname that he or other people have given him, but regardless of nicknames alone, Andrew Love has everything to gain in this match and nothing to lose. Sure, he can get a beating from the Phantom, but a lot of people will get beatings from the Phantom. That's just a give and take when you're in the ring with him. Andrew Love has something special in him, and I think that he might be able to surprise a few people, including Phantom, in this matchup. So I'm going to go with the underdog on this one. And again, I can't bet against the Schwa. I'm going Andrew Love on this one.
Well, you know what they say, dirty schwa flock together, right? I mean, it is what it is.
Who says that? Besides you in this exact sentence, who says that? Please.
I can give you examples.
Exactly.
People have said it, though. Listen, I'm not the first one to call Oshawa the dirty schwa. You know this.
Well, maybe he will take some of those dirty schwa tactics and put it in his match and get a victory over the Phantom.
All right. Well, valid points. You're right. I'm not taking anything away from Andrew Love, but I completely agree with where you're coming from. But I'm still going to stick with the Green Phantom on that one. Next match on the card were another two men that were part of the match that shall no longer be mentioned. Matt Cash and the Manacle. Meredes. He was a fill-in for Sexy Eddie because unfortunately Sexy Eddie was injured and he could not partake. So this man was a last-minute, I guess, addition to the Odyssey, if you will. And
with another foot injury, I'd like to be able to say too. What is with these people from Quebec and foot injuries?
Maybe they don't have strong.
You know what's weird too? Sexy Eddie and Lufisto used to be a team. Triple X Sex Express. There's a connection there.
Maybe. So what you're saying is that there's a rash of foot injuries going around affecting Quebec wrestlers.
I mean, this should be looked into. TMZ should be all over this by now. But
you're not. Don't listen. Don't start conspiracy theorying another pandemic. Okay, we don't need.
I'm just saying. that is something that we should look into, and all of our priority and money should go into it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be the first one to sign that petition that I will not be looking into it. So who do you take in this one? Matt Cash or Moretis?
Moretis is he's a bit of a kooky cat, isn't he?
Well, I mean, do you expect anything less from New Frontier's roster at this point?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Matt Cash, though, on a personal level, I felt the wrath that this guy can do. He's small but mighty, shall we say, in that ring, and that guy can pack a punch, and he doesn't mind taking one as well. And all kidding aside, I'm gonna have to go with probably Matt Cash on this one. As much as Moretis has, he's got something to him. I'm not entirely too sure what, between the spikes on the jacket, the paint, the demolition tongue, and everything else in between. I don't know. He's a bit of a kooky cat, but I think if this is going to come down to a fight, which I think it is, and just those people from the old Death Proof days they're fighters, they're brawlers, they're willing to go that extra mile. Matt Cash has proven that in the past, time in and time out. So I'm gonna have to go with Matt Cash on this one.
You know what? I don't know enough about these two individuals to say that I can make a guesstimated decision on this one. But just based on knowing Matt Cash on kind of a personal level and seeing him wrestle a few times, I'm going to agree with your decision. Matt Cash is a brawler, and New Frontier seems to fit the brawler's style a little bit more than the classic wrestler or the out there characterized wrestler. It seems to come down to, based on matchups thus far that the matchmaker has put together, it seems that the brawlers kind of have an advantage in this type of environment. So that being said, yeah, so far, right. I mean, there could be a turning of the tide as this show progresses throughout the night on Sunday. But as of right now, I think it's a fair bet to put your money on the brawlers. So I'm going to go with White Trash, Matt Cash as well. Now we have Hayes. This is crazy, but we've got two fatal four-ways on the card. One is singles, one is a team. We'll do the singles one first. So we got the one-man crusade, Josh Vander Cruz. He's going up against the debuting Gunnar Lang, the returning Travis Moore, and also another debut, Adrian Astar. Now, Adrian Astar and Gunnar Lang, I do know of them from ACW, and I know their matches impressed at the first ACW show, along with Andrew Love. But this is New Frontier. This is a new frontier for them, and it's a new frontier for everyone that joins this roster, because you really got to expect the unexpected. Just when you think it's going to be a typical match or this or that, the matchmaker could throw down some kind of crazy stipulation and change things all kinds, even last minute, which we both witnessed at the first show. So looking at this match, I know your feelings on Travis Moore, but looking at this match objectively, out of these four, who you got? Now, again, be objective, Hayes.
I am. And you know what? I'm bouncing, honestly, between two people. I'm bouncing between Adrian Astar, because I've seen him work locally here in Oshawa before, and I've seen what he can do. And I think that his elements of shock and awe style wrestling with the high fly is going to be very much needed in a match like this, to be able to kind of surprise your opponents, especially since it is going to be one fall to a finish. This is not elimination. This is one fall to a finish, a fatal four-way. And the other person I'm going to actually pick is Travis Moore. And I know that might be a bit of a surprise. Now,
well, to me, anyways, it is.
Well, Gunnar Lang, I don't know too much about the guy, but I heard that he's a not bad wrestler, and I'm sure that he's going to do a great job impressing, the folks here in New Frontier, especially if he wants to be able to keep his job. Vander Cruz, I don't know. It's because if I was expecting a little bit more from him, or maybe he was expecting a little bit more from himself. But against that match against Rip Impact, and I said it before too, that he was against some people, or somebody rather, that just had the experience factor on him. And I knew that was going to be his downfall, and it was on the first show. Now in this matchup, it's very easy to get lost and be able to hide and pick your spots. But I think Vander Cruz, especially after last showing and being the statistic in professional wrestling lore history, that everyone loves statistics, that he was the first man to ever lose in the New Frontier ring. And I know he's a man of statistics too, and that's something that's going to eat him up for the rest of his life. So he's going to want to come out guns blazing, take out 3 guys as fast as he possibly can, and showcase that he belongs in the upper echelons here in New Frontier. And I honestly think that Vander Cruz, that might be his downfall. And I know the guy. He is very hot-headed when he needs to be about certain subjects. And I think that him doing that is going to be ultimately his downfall. Travis Moore survived 5 other people when I thought he wasn't even going to survive the opening minutes of that match, and he made it all the way to the end. Against guys like Phantom and Steve Brown and Mark Shaw and Matt Cash. So there's got to be something for his survival ability in these multi-man matches that we have seen, which makes me want to lean towards him. So like I said, Gunnar Lang, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. He could impress. Vander Cruz, I think he's going to, like I said, he's going to go in with everything right under the sun and try to get the fastest win possible over 3, potential breakout stars here in New Frontier. But this is a toss-up for me between Travis Moore and a star. And honestly, I don't know if I can pick between either or at this exact time. What about you?
You know what? It's weird to say this, but out of all the guys in that ring, Travis Moore is the veteran. Travis Moore has the longest in-ring time out of all 4 of these matches.
In-ring, yes. In-ring. If we're talking in general, Vander Cruz has them beat because he's been in this business for about 12, 13 years at this point.
Right, but let's just talk in-ring. So in-ring, in this match particularly, Travis Moore is the veteran. So I think
more high-profile matches, yeah.
Yes, I think that when it comes down, like you mentioned, you also touched on his survival instincts, and that's one thing that I mentioned the last time we did a prediction show was don't count out Travis Moore because he does know how to survive in that ring when the odds are stacked against him. So being that this is a match kind of tailor-made for his style, I'm solidly going to pick Travis Moore to take this one. I'm going to stick, much like you stuck with one of your original picks, I'm sticking with mine. I'm going to go with Travis Moore.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Travis Moore on this one. Now let's talk about the other fatal 4-way that we got, which is a 4-team elimination. This is going to be the match that steals the damn show. I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling. I think that's one of the other few things you and I actually agree on. Tag team wrestling is the best type of wrestling. But listen to these teams. We got Airstrike, Mike Forte, Tyler Arrow. We got Fight or Flight, Fuerza and Von Vertigo. We got the Bay City Choir Boys. And we've got Guerrero and Invincible Jr., who had an awesome match at the last show. Those 2 took it to the house. They tore it down. They stole the show. We're talking about 4 elite teams. And this one for me is going to be very hard to pick because 3 of these teams I know very well. 1, I don't know enough of, which is the Bay City Choir Boys. But I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. But we're talking about Fight or Flight, held multiple titles across multiple promotions. We're talking Airstrike, household name in the Ontario tag world. And Guerrero and Invincible, they were great facing each other. Imagine what they could do together. That blows my fucking mind. When I look at this match, it's very hard for me to make a decision. I want to lean more towards Fight or Flight because they're just 2 guys that I appreciate everything they can do in the ring. But you know what? I can't take anything away from Guerrero and Invincible Jr. And also Airstrike being in there. Even the Bay City Choir Boys. I don't know enough about them, but I'm not going to discount them. This one is the real tough one for me to call. I just don't know, Hayes. I just don't know.
This is going to be madness in the ring. If we thought the stick fight was just going to be chaos, we have 8 of the most athletic and gifted people in the ring at the same time in one match. The matchmaker must have a really big thing about burning the house down and then trying to rebuild it the next time they come back, because that's exactly what he's trying to attempt in this match.
Well, you got to raise the stakes, right?
Of course, raising the stakes. My Lord. If this was a high bear jump, it would be to the moon at this point, the level that they're going to try to see. But be that as it may, in my opinion, there is one correct answer for who's going to win this match. And you touched on it, and I think it has to be Fight or Flight. The experience factor, the domination factor that they've had as not only singles that we've now been able to prove, but also all over the world. Like literally all over the world. Like Vertigo's coming back after winning from Europe the PCW UK Cruiserweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Like these men are metal tested and have proven that size doesn't matter. And for a team like an Airstrike that probably looks at them and be like, we want to be like them in the next 5 years, which is a hell of a goddamn good bar to be able to set.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fight or Flight is possibly the best team, bar none, in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, you got your Bay City Choir Boys. Don't know a lot about them. They're the, the dark horse in this, at least in my opinion. But then, of course, you have the teacher versus student who just show that they have chemistry, not just as combatants, but I'm assuming if you train somebody, you got to at least know a bit of their mindset of how they are in the ring.
Of course.
And I think that makes them a very unique team compared to all the other ones in the future. But in this one, it's literally a free-for-all. It's going to be whoever gets that first pin. And again, it's the same as the other ones. I don't believe this is an elimination. But if this is an elimination matchup, which for all intents and purposes, I really kind of hope it is, because that means it just lasts a little bit longer. So matchmaker, if you're listening, make this thing elimination.
It is. It's a 4-team elimination match.
Oh, it is elimination. All right, perfect. So they already listened to me in the moment. Perfect.
Oh my.
So I would have to then say, based on experience factor, them just knowing where to be at all times, and the fact that if it goes down to them having to be singles wrestlers, like tag team wrestlers can be okay wrestlers on singles, but then be great as a team. Vertigo and Fuerza are great singles wrestlers and are even better somehow as a team, at least in my opinion. Now, of course, Fuerza has been, having to have, Freedom Wallace in the background, which whatever the video was that Freedom Wallace was talking about, like saying that, he's got something planned for him. I'm not entirely too sure what the heck's going on there, but clearly there's some unfinished business according to Freedom in that match. So I really hope that he stays far away from this matchup as physically possible, because this should just be 4 teams trying to prove themselves to the matchmaker and to the fans. And the only people that are really going to win this match are the fans.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, but ultimately, there's got to be one overall winner in elimination. I'm going to give it to Fight or Flight. But by God, this is going to be insane.
It is going to be insane. And just based on the simple fact that I know 2 of these teams very well, I can't make a choice. Much like you couldn't make a choice in the Travis Moore Fatal 4-Way, I can't make a choice in this one. So I'm just going to have to sit back and enjoy the show and enjoy calling this one. Now, last 2 matches on the card are undoubtedly going to be the undercard main event and the main event. The main event we already kind of know. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the undercard main event I'm looking at is the Night Train Just Insane versus the High Risk Hero, one of the Ontario OGs, Rip Impact. This one, man, I'm just, as a wrestling fan here in Ontario, these are the matches you live for. You're talking Rip Impact, and ROH, veteran. You're talking Rip Impact, world traveled all over the globe, here in Ontario, all kinds of craziness. And then you're talking the Night Train Just Insane. This guy's motor does not stop. And we saw that in his match with Jesse Yamato at the last event. Oh, man, just after the high that Just Insane must be on, and even Rip Impact, both in the win column last show, I don't know if Rip Impact's high-risk style can topple the Night Train Just Insane. I think he's just going to run through Rip Impact. Don't get me wrong, Rip's going to put up a fight, but I got to give this one to the Night Train Just Insane.
You were saying before that tag team wrestling is your thing. Mano y mano for me, between 2 great wrestlers, is my thing, which is why I associate myself with Tarek, because of him being such a great wrestler. But
no, you associate it with it because you hitched your,
but that's not
your horse to that character early.
Hey, listen, but that's
you're an ass kisser, Hayes.
That's besides the point of what you think about me.
But it is
this matchup is one of the most, in my opinion, the match that could steal the show. Because Rip Impact, again, you said it yourself, 20-year veteran, Just Insane literally gets better by the match. And I've seen him in some of his first couple matches here in Ontario, and he was good then, and he's even better now. And again, this is of course one of the Contender Championship Series matches where at the end of this, between Jessie Mack and Cranio and Just Insane and Rip Impact, one of the 4 of these individuals is going to walk away from Immortality on June the 12th as the New Frontier Grand Champion. Like one of these 4 people is going to be the standard bearer. Like they're going to be, like, no offense to Matthew Grant with the nickname or all, but like one of these people is going to lead this locker room. They are going to have that, that statistic, that thing. I was the very first. Pride, athletic ability, and everything else in between is what both of these men strive for in their careers. They have won championships every company they've ever been in. I said before that the fans are going to win when it comes to the fatal four-way or the four-way elimination tag. Justin Sane and Rip Impact are what you were said before too, about only brawlers seem to be really doing well in New Frontier. Like they seem to be like the style of wrestling that's been superior.
Mm-hmm.
Rip Impact beat a brawler in Josh Vandercruz. Yamato fell to Justin Sane, who a brawler lost to the hybrid wrestler.
Fair enough.
You have two of the best hybrid wrestlers other than Tarek in this match. And it's a damn travesty that one of them has to lose. Because quite frankly, this could be the main event of Immortality. This could literally be the best of Ontario going against each other right now. But unfortunately, one person has to lose. And if I'm going to put my money on somebody, I have to put my money on Justin Sane to win this. I've been preaching him for so long. He's too good for his own good. And I don't think he even realizes how good he really is, or else his career maybe would have even skyrocketed even higher. This is why he needs someone like me in his corner to show him that. But that's besides the point. The fact is, Rip Impact, Justin Sane, this is a wrestling match that I wish I wasn't on commentary for, that I could sit back and watch as a fan. But I'm going to have the pleasure and honor of being able to sit there, even with you, and be able to do this. Because quite frankly, these are the matches that I live for as a professional wrestling fan. So Rip Impact, Justin Sane, by a hair, I'm going to go with Justin Sane, because there can only be one winner.
Well, you know what? Win or lose, either one of these men would be great to answer the Mark Ass Buster challenge and beat the crap out of Tarek that beat the crap out of you. Okay. Anybody to beat the crap out of you would be amazing. Okay, let's get on to the main event of the evening. The main event of the evening is Jessie Mack. There's no need for you to speak. See, this is the great thing about being the host, is I get to control the tempo of the show. I said my piece. The fans agree with me. You could shut the hell up, and let's move on to the main event. Jessie Mack versus Tyler Hill. This was built up from the end of the last event. After Jessie Mack went toe-to-toe with the Night Train, and he did not come out victorious, he was sitting on the ring, walking to the back. Then Tyler Hill came out of nowhere and attacked him. And this is something that brews from the past. This is the ghosts of Jessie Mack's past coming back to haunt him. Tyler Hill at one point said, before the roster cleared out and tried to separate these two, Tyler Hill looked down at Jessie Mack when he was kicking the crap out of him and said, 4 years ago, I told you not to come fucking back. This is my ring. This is my fucking house. You're not welcomed here. Quote unquote is what Tyler Hill said as he was laying shots into Jessie Mack. So the matchmaker, doing what he does best, saw an opportunity to cash in on this yet another feud, another rivalry, unsettled in Jessie Mack's past. It's almost like the matchmaker himself might be a ghost from Jessie Mack's past. That's all I'm going to say, because I had a very, very extensive one-on-one conversation with Jessie Mack. He has a fantastic mind for this business. His psychology is like no one I've ever seen. But he's got a lot of ghosts. And a lot of these ghosts are unsettled. And I feel like as New Frontier progresses, this is not so much the entire locker room's odyssey, as I feel like it's Jessie Mack's odyssey. Dare I say, correct myself and say this is his gauntlet. I feel like this won't be the last ghost to come out of Jessie Mack's past as New Frontier continues.
I know Jessie Mack very well, as a lot of people may know, and especially from your interview, which you did a fantastic job, I will say. All shots at me aside, you did a great job with that interview. Jessie is a very humble person, especially quite frankly, since getting straight from the demons that have literally plagued his life over the last several years. And they have literally plagued his life. But I've never seen anyone rise from the ashes like Jessie Mack. Like, here's a guy that on Shoot Talk here, he was supposed to be one of the guys that was supposed to be in my wedding party. He was supposed to be at my wedding. And on the night before my wedding, he couldn't show up because he was that far down in the dirt. He couldn't even be there for one of his best friends at the time because of how far in the hole that he was with the just everything that was plaguing him at that point.
Wow.
To see him come from where he was then to where he is now is nothing short of a miracle. Tyler Hill, he's got a lot of personal gripes against Jessie Mato, and a lot of people would say rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Jessie Mato you only dig your own grave in this world. And you can say that everybody else, oh, this happened to me, I would have happened to whatever. You're the person that has the shovel at the end of the day. It's your decisions how far you dig. So Jessie Yamato is trying to right those wrongs and try to dig himself up out of a grave and show that, he is still worthy. And Tyler Hill does not think he is because of the things that he has done in his past. This is not going to be a wrestling match. This shouldn't even come close to resembling a wrestling match in anybody else's mind. This is going to be a fight. This is going to be a legitimate war. Jessie Yamato needs to prove that he belongs. Tyler Hill thinks that he doesn't, and he's got every reason to believe so in his own mind. The bottom line is, I don't think that the outcome of this match is going to matter because I don't think that this is going to be over. This is going to be over until one of them ends up in a wheelchair. And I don't think that Jessie Yamato wants that to happen. I can only imagine, because he doesn't want to be that person anymore. Sure, he'll take it to the extreme and he'll do what he needs to do to win, but he isn't bloodthirsty. He doesn't have that raw aggression in him like a Tyler Hill does to maim and destroy careers just because he can. Yamato goes out there because he wants to win. Sunday, May 1st is not going to be about winning. It's going to be about surviving. Either Tyler Hill's going to survive or Jessie Yamato's going to survive. But whatever happens, I just hope that it does end and it doesn't bleed over to, June 12th for Immortality, or it bleeds over to the next show or the next show. I want this to be done and over with, quite frankly, for both men's careers. Because the longer that these two are going to be tied to each other, the more pain, the more destruction, the more anguish, the more turmoil that it's going to take to be able to put the other one away for good. Let it be done on May 1st. Get what you need out of the ring, Tyler Hill, out. Jessie Yamato, if you're going to deserve this ass kicking in a sense because of the past, then take it, but show who you are in that ring. Show them the world that you deserve to actually still be in this business. Regardless of what happens, like I said, May 1st in Oshawa, Ontario, I just want it to be done. So I'm hoping that this is the last time we see these two ever booked together on a card. I don't believe that's the case, but I really hope it is.
Wow. You know what, Hayes? That's the most sincere I've ever seen you. Real shoot talk. Straight up, I felt a lot of that. And I hope both men, because they will most likely be watching this when it drops tomorrow, exclusively on the Straight Talk YouTube page. Please subscribe. But I hope that they heed the calls, and I hope that you're right. I hope it is done. But just knowing the matchmaker and knowing how things have turned out thus far as we continue on this odyssey, it may not be done. And you know what? I don't even want your pick. I'm not going to give mine either. I think both of us are just going to have a hard enough time getting through this match.
I think so too. And for the fans that are expecting this, like I said, to be a wrestling match, just don't.
No.
I want you to be on the edge of your seats, not because I don't think that it's going to be exciting, but I want you to be able to get up and get out of the way in case something happens. Because quite frankly, I think it might happen.
Very true. Well, you know what? There's a lot of things that can happen, especially at the ballroom. So again, May 1st, Sunday in the Dirty Schwa. New Frontier Hostile.
Stop calling it dirty. This isn't Hamilton. Hamilton's the dirtiest city in all of Ontario. Don't give me that look. You know it's true. Oshawa, Ontario, we are proud as a city, and I am proud to be able to have you guys for New Frontier at the Biltmore Theater.
Aren't you the crack capital or the crystal meth capital of Canada?
Is that actually a thing?
I think the statistics would say you've had a lot of meth labs in Oshawa.
See? People love statistics. I'm just saying. Statistics, man. I knew it.
Well, you know what, guys? If you want to come watch some good old wrestling at the Hammerstein Ballroom and also pick up any kind of crystal meth you could want, come to Oshawa.
That's disgusting. How dare you? That's terrible. Don't say that.
Hey man,
he's never gonna want to come back here. It's
dude,
an easy drive for me.
Dude, you're the guy that's raising your child in the crystal meth capital of fucking Canada. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, buddy, don't be talking about parenting stuff here. Come on.
Listen, all I'm saying is listen, Cassie, if you're listening, Cassie, please don't let this man control you. Okay? If we've learned anything, you can overcome the domestic, mental things that he's doing to you. He's holding you back.
Yeah, you better watch the words you're saying right now, sir. I am a great father. I am a great husband. But you know what? I'm even better than all that. I am a leader of everybody that comes near me. And they
you know where you are? You're right. You're the leader of being the first one to stand in line and hitch their horse to any wagon that'll pay off in his own endurance. You are all about yourself, Haze. You don't really, let's be honest, Haze, before we wrap this up and tell our socials.
I thought we were wrapping this up. You gave
but you know what? Now you got me pissed off. Haze, let's talk about this right now. You don't care about Tarek. You're only doing this to get ahead for yourself.
What am I supposed to get ahead with?
All I can say is this, Tarek, if you're listening, I hope the winning streak does continue, and I hope you continue to do it by yourself.
It will.
Please do not let this man get in your head, interfere in your matches, and make you less of a wrestler than you are. Because that would be your undoing, Tarek. Is already aligning yourself with this bozo. Please don't let him try to conduct anything other than his dirty, drug-problemed cop look around the ring. Please.
You are holding on to that cop look as hard as you possibly.
You know what? Listen, Haze, I love that shirt, by the way. Did you get that in the 3-pack you bought from Value Village? I don't care. All right, guys, this is it from New Frontier Prediction Show for Hostile Crisis. I am your host, your boy, George Mackay. You know all of my socials, but they're always in the link below. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for getting us over 500. We're now at 511 subscribers, and I appreciate you because it's for great content like this. And now to introduce, unfortunately, my co-host for this evening and my co-host for Sunday, the one and only ass kisser of asses, Adam Haze.
The Honorable Adam Haze. Get it right.
Don't forget to check out Swa Wars, available on Spotify and Anchor.fm. He doesn't do YouTube because he doesn't like to show his face a whole lot. Because most of the time when we're doing those shows, guys, he is filling his hair plugs. Anyways, peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode on all available podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. Also, check us out on YouTube at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Instagram at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling, and on Twitter at _Straight Talk. And if you feel the need to buy some sweet merch, check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Leaving the scene with no trace, not in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine.